one time they had a PayPal weekly poker game, and Elon said he wanted in. So they played poker, and he bet everything on every hand. And afterwards, Peter was like, what was going on? And Elon goes, well, I've never played poker. So his appetite for risk and kind of wild behavior was there. And then Peter said, he said, come, I want to give you a ride in my McLaren sports car. And they were going super fast, and for some reason not wearing seatbelts. And the car did a 360-degree flip. Peter said it was like literally a miracle that either of them were alive. And you know, when you read that, you're thinking, okay, this is this guy. And I interviewed him on a totally different, he was not, when I interviewed these Silicon Valley guys, they didn't even know Washington existed. All they knew was they didn't want Washington to regulate them. But they are, you know, gods in their own universe. And they think they're more important than politicians because they're creating new life. You know, they are high on their own supply. They are literally, AI is new life. You know, it's like our, one of them calls it our mind children. And it's now in the teenage years, kind of hurtling toward adult years, like within a few years. So they, you know, were not paying attention. Well, Peter was. Peter actually talked at Trump's first convention. So he was the first one to get involved in politics. But the others, and most of them were Democrats, and now a lot of them, like, you know, Zuckerberg and Bezos, seem to have flipped over to being Republicans. But yeah, Elon was anti-Trump then, but I went to interview him. It was 2017. You know, I had seen a quote of his that with AI, we were summoning the demon. And if we didn't get a kill switch, we would all be dead. And Peter said, when AI blossoms in full force, it will be like extraterrestrials landing on the planet. It'll be that different. And so I went out and did a piece from the view of a naive, you know, someone who knew nothing about AI. And I drove around Silicon Valley for a week and talked to every high-level person, and it was super fascinating. But at that point, Sam Altman and Elon, who are now feuding, and there's a lawsuit over OpenAI, had founded OpenAI as a watchdog on Google's DeepMind and all the other AI companies because they didn't trust them, and they wanted to be the advocates for us, for carbon-based beings. Elon wanted to save humanity, and that's why he's obsessed with going to Mars, so we would have some place to go and escape to. But what he didn't realize at the time was AI can follow us to Mars. You know, and one of the other guys had to explain to him, Elon, it can just come with us, you know, and in the air. And so I was very much on Elon's side because why not have a kill switch? You know, the fact that most of them don't care about a kill switch. Most of the people I interviewed in Silicon Valley had already accepted the fact that we would have AI overlords. And Steve Wozniak, you know, the famous guy he worked with Steve Jobs, told me that he was being really nice to his pets because soon we would be the family pets. And he was feeding them filet mignon, and he just wants our overlords to be nice to us when they take over, and it seems to be getting closer and closer. So I'm really proud of that piece.